If you enjoy the content on this channel, please like and subscribe. Running Scared is a 1986 American action comedy film directed by Peter Hyams, written by Gary Devore and Jim Huston, and starring Gregory Hines, Billy Crystal, with Steve Bauer, Jimmy Smits and Dan Hedaya in supporting roles. Hines and Crystal play Chicago police officers who, after nearly being killed on the job, decide to retire and open a bar in Key West, Florida, only to get caught up in making one last arrest before they go. The film was produced and released by Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. In 2010, Hyams recalled that he wanted to remain earthbound and desired a comedy not stupid, and where the action was not without mean-spirited or bloody or graphic. MGM's script about retiring New York cops turned into a tale of non-retiring young Chicago cops, offering a fresh casting possibilities in a unique city for a backdrop. He noted amidst the numerous cop movies he chose to opt for more unconventional actors and chose Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines, who proved to have great chemistry. Hines persistently campaigned for his role, proud that the film featured a black guy with sex scenes, deviating from the norm of a black character being devoid of sexuality as opposed to his white counterpart. He recalled that Hyams was tough to work with, but he didn't want to put the guy down. He would later remark, Crystal, valued for his improvisational skills, contributed little pearls to the script, supported by Hines' chemistry. He noted that his risky improvisations were only possible due to Hines' solid presence. Filming spanned from September 1985 to January 1986 across MGM Studios in Culver City, California, in addition to location work in Key West and Chicago. The film debuted at number 5 at the US box office with a weekend gross of $5.2 million. It would go on to make $38.5 million. The original script was written for Gene Hackman and Paul Newman before Peter Hyams decided to make Hughes and Constancio younger characters. Tom Selleck and John Travolta were also offered roles of Hughes and Constancio. Selleck turned it down due to commitments to Magnum P.I., while Travolta's agent at the time, Michael Ovitz, felt the project was wrong for him. A sequel, titled Still Running, was planned and different scripts were written, but Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines did not think any of them were strong enough to warrant a sequel and turned them all down. In several outdoor scenes, snow is simulated with foam. A spin-off music video was produced for Michael McDonald's hit single, Sweet Freedom, which was a major part of the film's soundtrack. In the video, Ray and Danny are in their squad car looking at the postcard from McDonald in Florida, which says, "Wish you were here," implying that there was inspiration for them choosing that on their holiday destination. We then see a montage of action scenes from the film over the song's intro, followed by Michael McDonald singing the song at his keyboard in a Florida bar. At the song's climax, Ray and Danny join up with him and have some beers and then dance along to join the song's backing vocals as it draws to a close. In his 1986 book, Absolutely Marvelous, Billy Crystal recounts that he whacked himself in the head with his pistol by accident and split open his nose. He was taken to hospital where a plastic surgeon stitched him up. Still feeling groggy, he was struggling to sign the release form when the ambulance driver slipped forward another piece of paper and said, "Just put it to Debbie, you look marvelous," the catchphrase of Crystal Fernando's character from Saturday Night Live. In an interview, Peter Hyams stated that he said that he wanted both Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines for this movie. He's heard, though, a big thud from the producers. At the time, both actors were not household names, like they became later on in their careers. After returning from Florida, Ray wears a Tampa Bay Buccaneers hat. At the time the movie was filmed, the Buccaneers and Chicago Bears were division rivals. Now, I'm generally a big fan of Billy Crystal's work, but frankly, I'd never heard of this film. I'm also a huge fan of the lead single from this movie, Sweet Freedom by Michael McDonald. So when I heard it was actually part of a film, well, I got curious and had to see what this film was all about. One thing that does stand out in this film is the comedic elements, with the chemistry between Gregory Hines and Billy Crystal contributing to the film's light-hearted and entertaining tone. The movie also, I found, blends action sequences with humor, creating a unique mix that sets it apart from more traditional action films, particularly of the 80s. Look, this is by no means a critical masterpiece and is rather forgettable. But I have read that it's gained somewhat of a cult following over the years, and I can see particularly fans of the late Gregory Hines and of course Billy Crystal might really enjoy going back and looking at this early film in their careers. Also, the soundtrack's particularly great, particularly that song, of course, Sweet Freedom from Michael McDonald, which is a song I've always really liked. This is a film that you can appreciate for its nostalgic value and the chemistry here between the two lead actors and some fun action sequences. Look, this is really a pure 80s movie, with its 80s soundtrack, 80s action sequences, and of course, nostalgic value. I found the plot to be very predictable, and the film's tone can be somewhat uneven at times, as it shifts between comedy and action, never really knowing what it wants to be, an action movie or a comedy. Nevertheless, the film will provide you with some entertainment and laughs, which I believe is in line with the intentions of the filmmakers. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to cast a comedian like Billy Crystal as a cop, you're definitely going to cast him in a role that makes you laugh. With its excellent soundtrack, Good chemistry here between the two leads of Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines. This 80s nostalgia cop movie gets a 7 out of 10.